Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to City Skylines, Green Cities. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be back in the beautiful city of Greendale, where things, as always, are going pretty darn well. We are currently sitting with a little bit of demand for residential zoning, absolutely no demand whatsoever for commercial zoning, and about 50% demand for industry/offices. We're also sitting just shy of $8 million with a population just above 157,000 people on this beautiful 30 degrees Celsius day. And since last time, there have been some changes, which is something I'm saying a lot more at the beginning of these episodes because I'm actually having some fun between episodes, just changing things. I also kind of want to just look at my options for a second because the game seems very quiet. Yeah, let's fix that. You probably might, you might not notice, actually, you know what, maybe there. You might not notice the sound change in the video, but for me, it was like super quiet. I don't know. You shouldn't notice a major difference in the video, assuming I do my audio editing correctly, which I sometimes do. There was an episode a little while ago that somehow I'd managed to have reverb on my voice, which wasn't intentional. I was changing some of my presets and somehow turned reverb on, and there, like, this one episode was like 50 minutes long, and there was a comment that was like, why is your microphone weird? And I'm like, my microphone's not weird. And I watched it and then looked at the edit and was like, oh my god, I've left reverb on. And like 20,000 people have watched this. I can't pull the video at this point. Anyway, that aside, since last time, I've gone ahead and filled up some of this space here. I've also extended this road around the entire lower part of the city and built up this area as well. So we now have the Dale district, which has actually got a lot of sustainable living going on there. I decided to do all of that off camera as well as just bring this road along a little bit further and around like that because we've built a lot of districts just like this. It's really nothing special. You know, the road layout is exactly the same as what we've done a million times. And, oh, I also did all this detailing in here with the trees and all that stuff along this entire road. But we've done all this stuff before, and I just figured it really wasn't necessary to, you know, have it in a video. We've seen this. I've done it a million times. I just don't think it was needed. But the reason that we have this road done here, and the reason there's no trees here, is because I actually want to start building suburbs off of that in the style of the Primrose Square suburbs. So we're going to be going for more sustainable living. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and see what we can start doing. Because I want to start doing something pretty good here. I think we're going to begin, you know what, let's begin right in the middle. And let's work backwards from there. Now, what I have to decide is whether or not we are going to have another road like this one that sort of follows the existing road. I don't think that's needed because we do already have this avenue here that is separate from the main city avenue. So let's go in here. Let's have a road with trees on it. And let's also turn off road guidelines. And we'll go 20 units that way. Actually, let's make it 30. We'll go 30 units that way. We'll go 10 units that way. Actually, we'll go 20 that way, and we'll go 20 that way as well. And then let's go 30. No, let's go 20 back. All right, so we'll go 20 units back like that. And that looks all right to me, because what I want to do is off of that, I'm kind of tempted to use these two-lane plain streets. I'm very tempted. Do they work nicely? They do actually work nicely. So let's use a few of these. We haven't used them before, so it's a little bit weird that we haven't used them up to this point, but I do want to use them. I think they're kind of nice. We can go 19 units in there and 19 units up to there as well. We're going to do the same in here as well with the 19 units either way. And then off of the sides of this, we're going to go 20. We're going to go 20 again. And then I'm thinking we're going to come down 10 here. Because I'm just going to make this, you know, this is going to be a largely grid-based suburb, but that's okay. That's not that much of a big deal. We'll go like this. Actually, You know what? We'll not do that. Because what we're going to do... Well, I'm going to put that back in. But what we're going to do is we're going to come down like this and go into there. So down like this and into there. Bulldozing you. And then this road is going to come off of here. Just so we have something a little bit different. Alright? Just so something does come off that main road. And that right there is going to be our suburb. There's going to be a bunch of... pedestrian paths that are going to need to go in there. We are going to have different designs for different parts of the suburb as well, but that is going to be the part that we build out from and we expand out from, and I think it looks fairly decent. So let's go ahead and surround this in pedestrian paths, because I think that's going to be a decent idea. So we're going to want anarchy, and we want to come up to here. And we're going to go around all of the zoning. And in some places, of course, we can go into the zoning and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to go around like this. And we're going to come down here. And basically just completely outline this entire thing with a path. Which I think is a good idea. It means people can walk around kind of easily. But we probably also want to go ahead and turn on guidelines. Because we're going to want a path that goes from here all the way up through the middle and connects nicely to those streets. And we could also probably do with a path that does a similar thing here and a similar thing here. So those are going to connect up nicely. We could do the same thing here as well. And the same thing over here. Basically, I really, really want people to walk from, you know, one district to another and so on and so on. I want that to be a thing that they do. I don't want it to be a case that they're driving absolutely everywhere, because we are going to have some commercial zoning in here. We are going to have shops that they can go to, little local places and all that kind of stuff. So making sure that they can actually walk around and can actually cycle around is kind of a big deal. Because I kind of want this suburb to actually have a bit of that green cities thing going on. And also, my entire park's on fire! I zoomed out for a second there and looked at this like, what is that? But no, my entire park is on fire. I guess that's what I get for putting bushes so close together. There's literally like 1,000 of them along here, which is why this is so bright. Oh, well, that's a shame. Oh my god, that's the video thumbnail right there. That's the video thumbnail. Wow, that entire thing is burning, huh? Do we have, by any chance, some fire helicopters? We do. Yeah, they are all in use as well. I feel like we need more. You know, I feel like we need more fire helicopters, and I feel like they could go, like, over here. So if I was to grab this thing, can I nicely put it in down here? Like, is that a decent spot for it, or is that a bit much? Is there anywhere I could put this thing that doesn't feel... I mean, that's right by a runway. Up here is probably not bad. It's still technically right by a runway. But I feel like... Wait a minute, what is this one? So that's the police helicopter depot. What if we just did that again? What if we just put a fire helicopter depot over here? If I turn off... Oh, wait, no, we need anarchy... Well, we need prop and tree anarchy to be on. So we'll have prop and tree anarchy on. We want a fire helicopter depot there. Basically. And then we want to move it just so it's actually nicely in the corner. That actually has fences around it already, which is super good news for me. So we're going to move it this way a little bit. To about there should be fine. And then we want to go in and just bulldoze some of the fences that are here already. So that it kind of opens up a little bit. And then, of course, we just want to replace those bits of fence with some more fences. Just so it looks like it's still relatively secure. I don't think anybody's actually going to drive out here, but we want to just make sure it still looks like it's a somewhat secure area. And that looks fine to me. Only thing we need to do is take out all of the trees, and then that's going to give us a bunch more fire helicopters in the city, which apparently apparently we do need. Apparently we are, in fact, in desperate need of some fire helicopters. Who would have thought? There we go. That should be. Oh no, we do have some trees in here as well. There we go. We'll just get those out of there a little bit. That seems fine. So I assume you are gonna go ahead and send up some helicopters. Yeah. You're also gonna need power. So why have we done it for this guy? It's just a direct connection to there. Well, that's perfect because I didn't really want to run power lines around the entire airport anyway. So right to there. And there we go. There's a couple of helicopters going up. That's hopefully going to be enough to deal with the fact that that entire park is in fact on fire, as well as the buildings attached. I have a feeling that my fire departments aren't capable of looking after that, but I'm not going to stress about it. It's fine. It's no big deal at all. Let's just not panic, okay? Let's not panic at all. Now let's see here. Can I go 20 units out from that road and straight down? I absolutely can, so we're going to do that. And I kind of want to do the same on this side as well, assuming that's not on the curve, which it isn't. So just like that, are those evenly spaced? Did I get the middle accurately? 480 and 540. No, I didn't. Well, I nearly did. It was a very close nearly. So what I want to do here is I want to go back to these roads and basically run this up to there. I'm going to need to change that path, unfortunately, but that's probably not a big deal. What I'm then thinking is I can't actually... No, I think we're going to have to come off of here. So let's go like this. We'll come out to that point again. And then if I go here, that's going to be blocked a little bit by that path. So what I'm thinking, we come down one more. And we leave some room for that path to go through. So let's turn off the road guidelines because they're going to start messing with us a little bit. We could leave anarchy on. Or apparently we couldn't. We'll redo that path. And in fact, I think we're going to redo... Oh no, we can't do that. I was going to say we could redo this path as well, because we could sort of connect it, but we can't. Unless I wanted to have that as a road going straight through, but I kind of don't. So that'll be fine as it is, I suppose. Let's see here. So this path here needs reconnected. What I think I'll do is I'm going to design this district a bit, and then we'll put a cut in the video, so that I can go ahead and sort of design this one as well in this area. I'm not going to make you watch me design the entire suburb is basically what I'm getting at. Because again, much like the districts that I built off camera that I mentioned earlier, I've done it a million times. I really don't think we need to see me do it another, million times. So let's come down like this. Can I get another... No, that's not actually going to be evenly spaced. That's a bit of a shame. Okay. What if we did that? Bit of a weird square to have there, but, yeah, it kind of messes with that zoning as well. Well, that's unfortunate. I think what we'll do, though, is have that road come over to there. We could maybe change this up a little bit. I don't think... Yeah, there's no way to get that to be even. It's because this road up here is going to have to move. That's basically it. This road here needs to go. And it needs to be shifted up one. Even though it's going to be slightly interrupted by that path. It does mean I can get these roads coming through here. And I'm not entirely sure I'm happy with that. I think I want to change that up a little bit just to, not have a junction so close to the entrance down here. So we'll do this sort of thing. And we could maybe do similar here, actually. If we did this. Because then we can get full zoning in that area without any issues. And the only question is, do we need this road? We kind of did, we kind of didn't. Let's maybe come off of there like this for that road. And that looks all right to me. So let's go ahead and get the paths back in. And then we can go ahead and start figuring out everything else. Because there's kind of a lot to figure out. Okay, so this is the current mess that we're dealing with. I know it doesn't look like much, but I'm kind of happy with it. There's a few bits missing. Specifically, a couple of little paths in here that we need. I've actually gone for a mix of dirt paths and the concrete paths. For the most part, it's entirely made up of dirt. It's these ones down here and the one along this avenue that's actually got the concrete on it. Just because I figure it kind of looks pretty decent. It connects up to these really nicely. And I figure at this point, we should probably go ahead and get the pipes in, because if we don't do it now, we all know I'm just going to forget to do it. So, we'll get some along there. Do we have guidelines on? We absolutely do. So let's just begin there and go the whole way across like so. Obviously, this isn't the entire suburb. That is worth mentioning. It's basically going to expand the whole way around this lower area. So we want to go to about there and come straight along this road to there. And what we can also go ahead and do is just go up to there and go the whole way across again. So yeah, this suburb is going to probably expand back a little bit further at some point. It's going to follow around this entire road and all the way down here. It'll probably sort of curve around a little bit and start following the cliffs there, which is why I've only built this one central bit. And the next bit that we build is going to have to actually curve around here. In fact, what we might do is build this bit over here first, then figure out the curves. Either way, the next bits are kind of complicated, and then after that, of course, I want to start building some farms out here as well. So there's a lot to do. There is a lot to be done here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to begin by throwing in some commercial stores to this area. So what I'm thinking we do is we have a line of commercial along there, and a line of commercial along there as well. Although maybe not at those end parts. Just to make sure that we don't have commercial on those little sort of concrete roads there. So that's just fine as is. We could maybe do with some commercial over here as well. So I think something like this could be kind of decent. Actually, let me just change this up a little bit because I have had an idea. If we extend the commercial like so, we can actually do some parking lots to stop anything being zoned in those roads where we don't want it. So a parking lot there and there will work out really nicely. And we can actually do the same there and in those spots too. And that will nicely border that bit of commercial. And we can actually do the same just over here as well with some parking lots just like, not like that, but like that. So that will nicely border the commercial zoning that we have. We are probably going to want some actual parks in here as well. So let's have a little look at that and see what we can do, because I do want to get things like, you know, large playgrounds in here. So I think a large playground there and also there could be a good idea. I'm thinking we could maybe throw in something like this and this to that space just to make it look kind of nice. We could actually just go ahead and connect these up as well. So that'll give a nice boost to the central area. And I think we could also maybe get something down here that'd be kind of nice. So obviously that's not going to exactly fit. That is a large playground though. So what if we got one of these over, say, here somewhere, possibly? It'd be really nice if it fit in there nicely. It just doesn't. Let's see. We have a couple of parking lots there. I think what we'll do is we will just throw these playgrounds into some space. It'd be really nice to get it in there, but that's just not going to happen. Let's just throw the playgrounds. I I really don't know. There. And also there. And we can throw some parking lots behind that as well, just to stop people from necessarily building there, because we really don't want them to do that. We really, really don't want them to do that. Would that have fit better by any chance? No, it would not have fit any better. What about that one? That's also going to be a negative. All right. Let me grab some trees then. Actually, let me not grab some trees. Let me grab this, because that's going to stop me from zoning anything there. And trees won't actually do that. So let's go ahead and do that as well, just to build up to that point. And that is pretty much just set to go ahead and say, hey, let's get some zoning in here. So the entire thing is going to be residential. Obviously, we don't have the demand for it. I'm well aware. But we will do in a little bit of time. So let's go ahead and get the district on this. And let's go ahead and see if we can get the demand for this and see what exactly is going to happen. Okay, so this is what we are dealing with at the moment, and I'm kind of happy with it. I think it looks kind of interesting. We've got the suburbs sort of curving around here and then going around this whole area. We have the need for a path down here, though. So what we're going to go ahead and do is just extend this pedestrian path the whole way along here so that we can't get any zoning on that avenue. We want to bring it along to about there as well, which is actually good because it means, you know, I've already used move it to move this path closer to the road so there's no awkward gaps. But what we need to do at this point is actually get this to curve really nicely, which is gonna be tricky. So we want it to curve over to there. The question becomes, is that possible? It should be. It should be possible. It looks like it's gonna be possible. I'm gonna have to do some moving of it here just to make that a little bit nicer. I think this all needs to be moved in a little bit, and then the curve needs to be a bit lower, and that just needs to be in a bit further like that. So curve that back out slightly. Let's move this node in a bit to there. And we can move this one in a little bit as well if I can just grab it, which apparently I can't do. Apparently the game doesn't want to let me grab... Oh, there we go. I can grab that node and just move it to... Oh, no, I can't grab it again. What's going on there? That one is definitely misbehaving. Oh, there we go. We'll just move it in like so. And that looks all right to me. That looks perfectly fine. So all we need to do here is go along, grab all of these nodes, and then move them all down a little bit so that they are gonna hide all of the awkward gaps between the pathway there and the avenue, which we have done. Okay. Then over here is done already. So at this point, the only thing left to do really is go in and add in all of the pedestrian paths. So let's go ahead and see if we can do this relatively quickly, because it can be a process that's a bit tedious, but when it's done, it does give us, you know, a way for everybody to get around here. Also, you might have noticed this area over here. This is just going to be sort of a park type thing. Eventually, you know, we'll put some trees in there at some point and make it look all nice. I'm just not too interested in doing that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and connect those together as well, so that's sort of a way for people to walk through there. I think it might be an idea to do that sort of thing as well, just so people can walk through. We already have some connections done here, so all we need to do at this point is run a pathway like this, and then run pathways down to here as well. Again, the idea with this entire suburb is going to be to get people moving, you know, to get them running around and cycling and just using anything other than cars, because this entire area could get very, very busy if we have too many people using cars. So we're going to try and avoid that to the best of our ability. So that can go through there. I am ever so slightly regretting my choice to use these sort of concrete-looking roads, though. Because, unfortunately, they blend in so well with the pedestrian paths that you kind of don't really know where the concrete road ends and the pedestrian path begins. And I feel like, realistically speaking, not that that really matters, because we're not necessarily building a super realistic city, but realistically speaking, there would probably be a lot of instances of people, especially people that might not be necessarily from the city, just driving onto pedestrian paths there. And we probably don't want that. That's probably something you don't want, so yeah, that could wind up being kind of unfortunate. Now let's see here if we can get some nice curves going on. So from here, we want to go to there. And we want to continue to bring... Let's just turn off road guidelines real quick whilst I bring this dirt path the whole way around the area. We'll bring it all the way around. It's going to touch the ends of those roads there. And it's going to go to about there, which should be fine. We can extend it to there as well. And let's see here. I think... to there should be fine with this going all the way to that point. Now the question is, can I actually go ahead and connect this all together in a really nice way? Now that's a dirt path there. It does have a bit of the highway on it, but that's not actually a big deal. If anything, that's kind of realistic, because these dirt paths aren't supposed to look like they've been, I mean, they do look like they've been laid out, but what I mean is, they're not supposed to look like, you know, perfectly laid out paths. They are supposed to look like they've, you know, got here over time or something like that, you know? They're not paths that the city government has been like, hey, let's put these paths in here. They're just paths that people use because they're super convenient. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's see if we can maybe get this to line up. I kind of have my doubts. Oh, no, that is actually going to, possibly work. Is that where I want to go? Yeah, that works. That works really, really nicely, actually. Okay, let's go ahead and just connect up some last little bits here. And over here as well. And there we go. We have a path going around that entire suburb. So I think all we desperately need to do now is put in a few more parks and then a bunch more zoning, and we'll see how this area turns out. So, I feel like a park here is a good idea. I feel like a park here is a good idea. I feel like a large playground over here could be an idea as well, including, of course, some parking lots behind it. So just like that, with a little bit of pedestrian path there. In fact, that can totally connect through like that, and that's another way to get to that park. So that should be fine. We could throw in a smaller playground into one of these corners up here, which I think I kind of want to do. So we'll go for there. And then at this point, it's going to be a case of putting in a bit more commercial zoning, which I think can totally go into these two spots. That's high density commercial. We actually want to avoid that. So it can go into all those spots there. And we could get more over here. I don't think we need it. I think that'll be fine. I think at this point, all we need to do is go ahead and put in a bunch more residential zoning, and we're going to have to wait. We are going to have to do a lot of waiting. And I hate waiting. I really, really hate waiting. So this is gonna suck, is what it's gonna do. It's gonna really, really suck. You know, I have come to a realization, which is that we're going for the nicely, you know, self-sufficient buildings. And we've gone for this concrete here, which is not gonna look good beside these buildings at all. Over here, they sort of look fine because they're coming off of some pavement and the road and all that stuff. But I almost feel like these buildings would look so much better with dirt roads, but we can't do dirt roads here. That's just gonna look terrible. I'm just slightly annoyed that I didn't think about that until, you know, I've done all of this. I'm ever so slightly annoyed that I didn't consider that. But there's really not much we can do about it, so we're not going to stress too much there. What I do want to do, though, is I actually want to come away from the city for a little bit, because we have all this industrial demand, and my voice is not holding up. Deal with it. We have all this industrial demand, and I kind of want to do something about it. I kind of want to start building some farms. I'm just not sure where to build them. Also, this area here is beautifully polluted. I'm just not sure where to build them. Because eventually I do want them done here, but I don't know how far this suburb's actually going to go. So I'm thinking that over here could be an area for some farmland. Especially since we do have this regional road, and we could totally bring a bit of that regional road off here as well. I don't feel like that's a terrible idea. So it sort of goes over that hill, and then if we turn off guidelines, we can be like, hey, you know, that road's going to go down behind the hill. Kind of like that. And then that could lead over towards some farms. I do want to lower that down a little bit. Or raise it up a little bit. I want the slope to look a little better. Basically, that's kind of what we're going for, because the slope, the hill that this is against, had that weird sort of lip there. Bit of a weird lip there as well. So raise that up slightly. And then I think raise that bit up slightly as well. So it sort of just goes, you know, up the hill. And then around the hill. So it sort of disappears down behind the hill. That's kind of what we're going for. I think that's fine, though. I think we could maybe even bring up the brush size a little bit here. Bring the strength way down. And build another slight hill on this side. So that this road sort of almost goes into a little valley of its own. Which I think could be really nice. I really like this idea. You know, I really like the idea that we have this little regional road. Just, you know, cutting through these hills, cutting through this little valley kind of thing. I really, really like it. I think it's really, really nice. I'm also thinking this one should be a little bit bigger. Just because there's a certain look that I'm going for here. So if I just raise this up all a little bit higher. That's kind of what I'm going for there. I want it to look like this kind of goes up and then, you know, has to turn because the hill in front of it's a bit bigger. I kind of want to raise or lower that bit of road now. So it goes up and then it kind of flattens out. And let's actually lower that even further. And lower that bit as well. Yeah, that's perfect. So it's going to loop around. It's going to go around these hills. And then if we go ahead and smooth those hills out a little bit, we can just make something that looks kind of nice, in my opinion. There we go. Just something a little bit like that. And then over here, we can do some farmland. I think that'll be an idea. I do think that having farmland near the airport is fine. That's actually really common. I think near a lot of airports anyway. Not city airports, but I know that Belfast International Airport in Northern Ireland, when you are coming in to land there, you are going over nothing but farmland. So, you know, that's kind of what's that's kind of what we can think of here. You know, there's going to be a lot of farmland, and that's fine. That is perfectly fine. My only thought is, where exactly would this road go? Because this road needs to be slow. You know, that's the thing with this road. It needs to be slow, and I'm thinking we maybe turn it into sort of a 2-lane alleyway as it gets to there. Or maybe not quite there, but a little bit further on, or even the 2-lane plain straight. So it is going to be, it's a paved bit of road, but has no markings. I don't know, I think that's too light to be the kind of road we're going for here. I think we might go for the little alleyway. I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and see if we can maybe freeform a little bit of road to come out here. So it's going to come out that way. And then head out towards the train track a little bit. And then maybe... I mean, where is this going to connect? I guess we want to take it right out along the train track. Roughly following that curve. Then it can curve down to there. And I think we will try and have it sort of connect up with this road over here. Although then that's going to cause issues because it's a two-way road. And we kind of don't want a two-way road, you know, connecting to all of this. So maybe it just dead ends. Maybe it's a little dead-end road. That's always an option. I'm just not really sure what way to go here. You know what? Let's just not worry too much about it. Because if we worry too much about it, I'm going to stress over it and start freaking out and not really know what I'm doing. But what I want to do is I want to go in here and I want to clear out a bunch of trees. So we're going to bring this strength up a little bit. We'll bring the brush size up slightly. Maybe bring the brush size up again. So we're going to clear out pretty much all of these trees. And I'm going to sort of build farmland, basically. That's kind of what I'm going to try and do here. I'm going to build fields, I'm going to build farms, I'm going to build something that I hope will actually look from above like some farmland. I've done this before. I did this in Emerald County. I don't know why I'm a little bit nervous here. I guess it's been a while since we did this. But we're gonna build some farmland. That's what we're gonna do. Let's begin with some dirt roads because we are gonna need those. And I think we can just go ahead and begin sort of here. And we'll go straight out by 30 units. We can go this way by, I think that was 30 units, and this way by about 30 units. And then we'll go, I think 30 that way. And 30 that way. And then connect those together. And then what I want to do is go another... I'm going to say a little bit less. So we'll go 10 there and straight back down to this road. We can go at a bit of an angle. That's not a big deal. We don't need all this to be perfect. And then we can go a bit longer there. Let's go 40 on this one. And that one can go straight down. So those are sort of the outlines of fields. And we just need to figure out, you know, how exactly this is all going to look. Because it really doesn't need to be perfect. So let's come off of here by about 20. And we'll go 30. And we'll come back down. I think this is going to be good. I think having this, all these sort of... They are going to be grids. They are absolutely grids. But I think having these sort of laid out on different angles is going to be really, really good for how this is going to look from above. So this, we are actually going to need guidelines for this. So this is going to come over like that. So that'll be fine. Over here, we're going to go at a 90-degree angle like so. And we can go straight down with that. So a nice big field there. This can go straight up. Actually, can this one meet that angle? It absolutely can. So that's going to be a bit of a weirdly shaped field there. And let's do the rest of this, you know, off camera, and I'll come back when I have something that I think looks kind of decent. Okay, so this is what we're working with at the moment. We have Bedford Hills, which has a bunch of sort of squares and different shapes in it. It also has a custom set of power lines running through it, because I thought these looked a lot better than the big pylons. So that's kind of nice. We have some power lines going out. And what we're going to go ahead and do is, rather than do all the detailing with all the plants and stuff first, I'm actually going to come in here and lay out a bunch of things like this, because the idea is that we're going to end up with something that looks like a bunch of different little farms. We can also go ahead and throw some houses into the mix, because it's sort of going to look like people live out this way as well as work out this way, which is kind of an important deal. So we'll go ahead and do this with just a whole bunch of little single tiles like that. Just so we can get something that looks, again, you know, like it's some kind of decent bit of farmland. So we can do the same here as well. We can leave a gap between all of these because we do want to make sure that, you know, the buildings are all a little bit different. We could maybe, you know what, we'll leave that one as is. But over here we could do something like that perhaps, and something like this, with another smaller building and an even smaller thing there as well. And then we can just sort of do this kind of thing opposite. Again, just to make it look like there's different farm buildings, all those kind of things. That's kind of what we're going for. We'll put some houses there as well. We probably want to go for sustainable housing out here. So I think I'll actually take the house off of there and put a house just there instead. And we could also throw a house into that spot, and then throw some small agricultural buildings just on the road next to it, like that. Basically, I'm going to try and tie everything together as best I can to make sure everything ends up with power in one degree or another. So over here is going to be a little bit trickier, but we'll try and figure it out. If we do maybe this kind of thing, a couple of buildings like that, a couple of little single buildings there. We already have a house up this way, but we can do another one. I don't think it's going to be too important. We can always split up these tiles in different ways as well. So not just because, you know, this is one big tile doesn't mean it's just one field. It could end up being, you know, more than just the one field there. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what way we end up splitting all this up. But what I want to do is basically just get a decent little bit of zoning in here and just see what we end up with. So we'll do this sort of thing. We'll do that and that. Get a couple of those guys there. Could put another house in here. I don't think that's going to be a terrible idea. So a house there. And I think that'll do for the time being. Just to roughly see what this area is going to look like. Plus, of course, it still needs pipes. So let's go ahead and get these in here. I'm going to try my best to follow the main road that goes through here first. And then we'll come off of that in just a little bit to see if we can nicely cover the entire area. That's obviously going to be kind of tricky because it is a huge area. But we are going to need to do it. The people are going to need some water. So we'll go down to there. And in terms of actually giving them water, I kind of like the idea of doing water towers. The only problem is they could get polluted by the farms. So what if we were to do a water tower on the hill just there, and possibly a water tower over on this hill as well, or another one here? What if we had a water tower there as well? So a couple of water towers might be able to do the job, at least to begin with, because there's obviously not that much in the way of zoning out here, so that should be fine. Let's also head all the way down here to do some zoning, just because I want to get rid of this little blip that's going to be flashing the entire time. So we'll do a house just there. We'll do a little bit of farmland there, and we can do a couple of bigger agricultural buildings just like this. Now, I do want to mention, I'm well aware that these houses run the risk of getting sick kind of quickly because of all the farmland. That's fine. I'm not too stressed about it. You know, it's a thing that's going to happen, but we'll sort it. Now, why are you guys still... There we go. No longer complaining about water. We have a couple of farms in there already. Let's go to the district specialization and make sure that the houses are self-sufficient as well. And I kind of look forward to seeing this whole area develop. I really, really do. And apparently, that's not going to work just there. So let's just run a power line. That was a really loud moo. That was a seriously loud moo. What kind of car are we dealing with here? It sounds like some demon thing. Good Lord. I don't know how loud that is in the... I don't know how loud that necessarily is in the video. But oh my God. Wow. That's impressively loud. I've also realized these guys don't have any sewage treatment, so technically speaking, we do actually need to connect this to the city. So go ahead and do that. Which means they're not going to have any water problems, but I do think this looks nice. I think having those water towers there does look kind of nice, and I think we could even go ahead and maybe throw in a few more trees to the area, maybe bring the brush strength down, bring the brush size down as well, and let's just throw in, you know, a few more trees just to make this area a little bit more dense. I know we haven't got too many of that type of tree in here at the moment, but I think it looks kind of nice just thickening up the forest there a little bit. Now, you guys are actually going to be complaining about water as well. So I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go up that way to there as well. Let's actually turn on the guidelines so I can get this to line up perfectly. So you're going to need to go to about there. This is going to need to go to there. And let's see here. You are going to need to go down to about there as well. So that will cover that area really nicely. That can go into there, and that can go up to there. And that should give everybody in that space some water. We should eventually see some people living out here. We actually already can see one house getting built, which is fantastic. And basically, the next step for all the farmland is going to be to go ahead and just put in fields. So a lot of bushes are going to be needed to do that kind of thing, but I'm kind of excited to get that done. I also want to make sure that the priority is always given to, let's see here, set you to give way. Priority is always going to be given to the roundabout. So traffic is always going to wait for the roundabout to clear out before, hold on a minute. Have I done that wrong there? I don't believe I did. So why traffic was stopping there was a bit weird, but we'll not worry about it. Let's also go to junction restrictions and make sure you guys can always keep moving. Because that is going to be fairly important to make sure that these guys always keep moving around the roundabout and don't stop in any awkward locations. I'm also really excited to see traffic actually get moving out there. I'm really excited to see that. Although we may want to go ahead and just lower the speed limit on this road. So what speed are we looking at the whole way through? 30? And then on the dirt roads, it's 30 as well. So we want to make sure that this road is also 30. And honestly, it could be really... Well, I was going to say it'd be really nice to have this 2-lane road go the whole way through because it has dirt on either side. That might not be a terrible idea. What if we were to go ahead and just continue that highway the whole way through? It might look a bit better, to be honest. And it's also going to stop me from zoning along that main road, which I don't actually want to do at any point. So let's go ahead and just bring this road the entire way through the agricultural area, at least the first of hopefully a couple of agricultural areas. So the whole way up to there, and we still have a bit of a distance to go, so let's zoom out to do this a bit quicker. So that entire road gets replaced. We are going to need to lower the speed limit, because obviously we don't want them going 90 through this area. Not that I think the tractors could even hit 90, but we want to make sure that they don't do that. Let's see here. Let me go for a bit of agriculture there as well. And let's go into here and say that that road is going to be 30 miles per hour the whole way along. Unfortunately, going to have to change every single segment Otherwise, we end up with little bits of road here that are going way too quick. Way too quick. Can you imagine you get to a tiny little section of road, it goes up to 90, well, I said 90 miles, 90 kilometers per hour. And then, you know, for a second, you get to put your foot down. Then you have to lift your foot off again because it goes back down to 30. I feel like that's not a very efficient way to do roads, so let's just make sure I'm doing it the better way. And there we go. That entire road has had its speed limit changed. Now, you guys are complaining about a lack of water. That's something we can totally go ahead and fix for you. I don't think anybody else out here is going to be complaining about that. I think they all have water. So, yeah, the next step with this area is going to be to basically put in all of the trees and bushes and stuff that's going to make it look like actual farmland. Because right now, obviously, it kind of doesn't. Just looks like a bunch of grids. So there's a lot of work to be done in that area to make it look right. And that is something we are going to do eventually. I'm not sure when. It will probably be between this episode and the next. But if we go back over here, this area is actually developing kind of decently. We're not really going to see much. Oh, hold on a minute. I've just realized that we have not actually expanded our district around that entire space. I guess while we do that, we can talk about this district and this area. We are not likely to see a lot of development here very quickly. Obviously, it's going to take some time for everybody to move in, which means we're also going to see development in the new farm area go kind of slowly, which is unfortunate, but it is going to happen. You know, obviously, as I've said many times, and as many of you have pointed out over the almost 3 years that I've been playing this game, I have a bit of a habit of zoning way too much, way too quickly, and then leaving myself in a situation where I have to wait for like an hour or 2 hours for the game to catch up and sort of fill up all that space. I'm well aware that that's a thing I do, because people are keen to remind me of that in almost every single City Skylines series several times throughout that series. So, I know it's a thing I do, but in this case, I don't think it's a bad thing. Because obviously there is a lot of zoning to get built here, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this area actually really busy, because this road that it's all based off of hasn't really had anything going on with it. You know, there's not been a lot that's been going on with that road. So it's going to be nice to actually see some people going along it and doing their thing and actually using it to commute and do their thing. And I said do their thing way too many times there, but you get the idea, hopefully. I'm also realizing that I still have a few policies that I need to put into this area. We don't have an old time policy, not that I think we desperately need one. We also don't have the encourage biking policy. And we may also want to make sure that we have things like the Parks and Rec boost and just all of that stuff to make the area as nice as it can possibly be. We're also gonna want to change up the district layout a little bit. So let's just bring that up to there, cut that out of there. And let me just make sure these buildings aren't a part of that district. Otherwise, they are going to kind of drastically change. So there we go. I believe that's everything. So all of the non-self-sufficient buildings will be changed. And what we can do is go to policies and make sure that we have things like, I don't know, recycling. Recycling is probably a really good idea across the entire city. I'm just worried about the lack of taxes. But we do have garbage problems, so recycling probably would have made a really great deal of sense, but whatever. Let's go for taxation. We'll not change anything there. And let's say maybe high-tech housing? No, let's not say high-tech housing. Let's say things like encourage biking for one, and we'll ban combustion engines as well. So that will make that area just a little bit greener, which is kind of what we're going for. It does look a little bit weird that close to the city. I think we might need to go in and say that we need a few high-rise bands along here. Like, this isn't even a district, but I think Lynch Park is gonna need a high-rise band. And I think we probably want to do the same in a lot of these districts along here that are right on the edge of the city. Because I just think it looks a bit weird. I'm not sure if a high-rise band will work nicely with the self-sufficient skyscrapers, but I think a high-rise band here to get those buildings down a little bit could easily make this very densely packed suburb look at least a little bit better. So we'll see how that goes. We also probably want to get some hearses over here, so let's throw you in there. Let's throw you in there. And let's just get a couple more crematoriums around here, just to make sure that the deceased are actually, you know, collected. There we go. You don't want Jerry sat in the sofa, you know, 3 weeks after he's gone. That's all I'm saying. Eventually, you're gonna get to the point where you kind of open the window and just go, huh! Out you go. You know, it's not a pleasant discussion. No one wants to really have it, you know. Jerry's still technically in the room, so it's really awkward, but I've made that joke before, just as an FYI. Somewhere in like one of my first series of City Skylines, I'm pretty sure I made the joke about, you know, throwing the sofa and the deceased out the window because no one was coming to collect them. I'm certain I've made that joke before. And safe to say, I think I regret it just as much as I did the first time. Anyway, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for today. We have expanded the city this way quite a bit. That whole area obviously needs to build up. It's going to take time. It's going to take a very long time. And this area over here needs a lot of work as well. But I think this area is going to look really good when we get some more trees over here, when we get all the plants into the farmland as well, and we just generally incorporate it into that space a bit better, because it's kind of awkward that it ends right at the train track there. So doing something with that's probably not a bad idea, but yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you kindly for watching. This has been City Skylines Green Cities Part 27, I think, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.